Alrighty, so here we are back under the e38. It's not a lovely day. This is the day after that work we were doing in the back with the tail light. So what we're doing today is we're going to pull out the control arm, which adjusts the toe, and this guide link, which currently adjusts nothing. And we are going to replace those parts with our new Polish pieces that came in. I don't know if they're made in Poland. This is where they came from. Silver Project. I don't know. Lots of goodies in there, I guess. I'll thumb through that in a minute. But what we're really after is these arms. So here is, now these are the ones on the passenger side, so they're being backwards from here, but this little guy is going to replace the control arm. So currently the control arm only adjusts on the eccentric for toe in and out. And this guy, when you do mount the bushing in there, you will still be able to adjust the eccentric. However, now we have adjustments for here. So we can just unscrew this, rotate it, and then clamp this down once we get where we need to be. And we have heavy-duty urethane bushings and ball joints in this dude. So they shouldn't need to be replaced again unless I get in a crash or something. They should be durable enough to last the rest of the life of this car anyway. And now here on the guide link, remember this is not adjustable. The ball joints on that end, there's no eccentric on the chassis side. But here we got the same setup. I remember this is for the passenger side, so it's a little backwards, but they even put R and L so you don't mix them up. But that'll be on the chassis side. Just put that in with the urethane bushing. We gotta do the same thing we did before, where we gotta do jack up the suspension and torque it under load on the chassis side. The ball joint will just go right in. Same deal. And then our adjustments here, where we can adjust it now, so we can do more or less camber. We can adjust the camber more, but we don't have to touch the eccentric this time because it's down here, right? But now we have an adjustment for toe on the guide link. So we're going to take this toe, or this camber rather, as much as we can close to zero. Get the toe as close as we can to zero, and then we'll take it to the alignment shop, have them do it all the way again, since I bought that lifetime alignment, and then we'll throw our 500 pounds of weight in this thing, which you saw from earlier videos, that big huge concrete 5-gallon buckets I have. So alright, let's get to work. Let's get these installed and see what we can see. Alright, we're mocked up in here now. We got the control arm on. We just need to torque it down. And what we can do the same thing here for the guide link. See, she's in there. I'll just have to put the bolts through and torque it down. So here's how we came to our measurements. We took our trusty tape measure, which is here. All right, we measured on the control arm distance between the center, the ball joint, and the center of where your bolt goes, the bushing. That was roughly 8.5 inches. So since we know we need to toe out a scotch, I did the same thing, measured, and then I went a little beyond 8.5. That way, if we need to fine tune it, we can use the eccentric. But if it needs to come out more, that's not a big deal. This threads through that, so you could just back this off a little bit and then rotate that up against a little jam nut here, and whatever. You can tune it from here, fine tune it, or you can fine tune it from there. I guess, but ideally what we're doing is getting as close as we can with this, eyeball it, fine tune it with the eccentric. That way we're not loosening clamps and messing with all that. But there we have it, mocked up. Now the guide link, same deal. I measured the distance, which was considerably more. It was exactly 12 inches from the center of that to the center of the ball joint. So then when I mocked this guy in there, we did just beyond that. I did, I believe, I think I even did 12 and 1/8 inches, thereabouts. But that'll give me a little bit more toe, closer to 0 camber. And then maybe the toe will be all right. We won't know till we get it back on the ground, but since there's no eccentric adjustments on this, this will only be able to be adjusted from here once we clamp and tighten this thing back on here. So, all right, that's where we're at. We're going to tighten this down, jack up the wheel, torque it, and then put the wheel back on, set it down, and we'll see how she looks. All right. All right, so I think we still need to go toe out a scotch. It looks to be towed in. Maybe a degree or two. And then as for the camber, I think we're pretty good or maybe slightly positive. Maybe only slightly negative? Hard to say. But it's definitely closer to 90 degrees perpendicular to the ground than it was before. Right? So that looks pretty good. You know, compared to this side, which has obvious negative camber. Bottom's out further than the top. And on this one, if it is, it's only a little bit. But now we can adjust it, so it doesn't really matter. But the toe definitely needs to come out a little, so I'll have to pull the wheel back off and adjust it just a scotch. But I'll settle the suspension first, and then we'll reconvene. All right, we settled the suspension. It's definitely still towed in. Yep, so we're gonna make that adjustment right quick. And then for camber, that's gonna be good enough. I don't think I need to touch that. We can let the alignment shop deal with the rest of it. Toe needs to be done though before I drive it there. So we'll do that. Or maybe we won't, I don't know. Because if you look at this side, it's also slightly towed in, I think. See, it looks the same. It looks kind of like slightly towed in. If you try to, I don't know, maybe it's okay. I don't know. I might just leave it like this till I get to the alignment shop, let them deal with it. Alright, so that's it for now. That's the, that's how we remove these guys and put the other ones in. The fully adjustable ones. So that's my recommendation. I mean, unless you want to buy these expensive tires over and over and over again, and you like the negative camber. Admittedly, it does handle pretty well. Like, as big as this car is, you can take some turns in it with that camber. But I'm not interested in buying tires over and over again. I'd rather replace these guys once, pay the extra $200 for them, and then not have to pay $200 a tire every so often. So, alright guys, that's it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and knock that other one out real quick, and then we'll be done until we can come back and repair the rear end and figure out what we're going to do with this. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. Peace.